Good evening. I'd like to call to order this meeting of the Peabody City Council Finance Committee. Present for the committee, Councilors Gould, Manning Martin, Rosignol, and Turco, and myself as chair. Also present this evening are Councilors Welton, Matsoulis, Charest, Saslaw, O'Neill, and Melville. We have one item on the agenda this evening, transfer of funds, West School roof in an amount of $21,000. Mr. Mayor.
Great, thank you, Chairman McGinn. Good evening again, Council. Hope everybody's doing well. Here today on a project that we're excited to move forward on. As we've discussed many times, we've been trying to do upkeep and maintenance at our buildings, school buildings, trying to keep them up to date as best we can. Certainly there's some age on a number of our buildings, but we know the cost of building new, and we're trying as best we can to extend the life cycle for our different buildings across the city. And we're trying to take advantage of a good relationship we have with the Mass School Building Authority, the MSBA, and they've been very supportive of a number of projects we've brought forward. Two that we did bring forward, and there are two different ways to apply for MSBA partnership on a project. One is accelerated repair. That's for such things as roofs, boilers, windows, things of that nature. And then the core repair is for the large projects, new schools, significant renovation. So two projects we put forward for the accelerated repair was the West School roof, and the other was the South School roof. This year we were fortunate to be accepted and invited into the MSBA into their MSBA program for the West School roof. This is the next step in that process, seeking $21,000 to fund a feasibility study to determine the need and cost for potential repair and or replacement of the West School roof. Here for that today. I know a number of my colleagues on the school committee are listening, as well as our superintendent, Dr. Josh Vidal, our assistant superintendent, Dr. Chris Lord, as well as I know members of the West School community. The West School roof has been a problem for a few years now. I know all of you are familiar with the West School. There's been times on major rainstorms that we've had to put some buckets out in the hall, and that's just not acceptable. So we think this is a good project moving forward. This is just the first phase. We'd be coming back to you once we get the costs of the project for funding at that time. So this is just the first step to do the feasibility study to determine the costs and the time frames and all of that. We're trying to push this as quickly as we can, hoping that we might be able to do it this summer. Be a tight time frame, but we're hoping to try to do this work when the kids are not in school, so there's no further disruption to the school day. So that's what we're trying to accomplish, and this is just the next step in that phase. Happy to answer any questions. I know Mr. Gingras, our finance director, is here as well, and certainly able to answer any questions also. Thank
you, Mr. Mayor, and thank you, school committee member Griffin Dunn, for being here, as well as you, Dr. Vidala, for attending this evening. Questions from the committee? Seeing none. Questions from other councilors? Councilor Welton.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through you to Mr. Mayor. Just curious, does the feasibility study, is that a requirement of the MSBA to apply for the grants?
Yes, that's the next step, Councilor Welton. That would be the next step for us. We're required to do the feasibility study, and then we go into schematic design, and that's when we actually get the costs and we figure out the time frames, hire the company to do the work. So yeah, this is a requirement.
Thank you. I definitely can attest to the need for a roof there, so I appreciate that we're working on that to address that, so thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Welton. Other councilors?
Mr. Chairman.
Councilor Gould.
If there's no further discussion, I'm ready to make a motion, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Councilor Gould. Please proceed with that motion.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to make the following motion to transfer from bond premiums reserved for projects, account number 270-0000-33015, in the amount of $21,000 to account West School Roof, account number 300-0000-35866, in the amount of $21,000. So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Councilors, you've heard the motion from Councilor Gould on the motion. Seeing none, roll call.
Councilors Gould,
Yes.
Manning Martin,
Yes.
Turco,
Yes.
Rozignol,
Yes.
McGinn.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
I'll accept the motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion to adjourn.
Councilors, you heard the
Thank you,
motion.
Council.
Roll call.
Thank you all.
Councilor Gould,
Yes.
Manning Martin, Turco,
Yes.
Rozignol,
Yes.
McGinn.
Yes,
Motion carries 5-0.
we are adjourned.
Thank you, councilors.